Hello guys, you are all welcome to my YouTube channel, Make Them Tech. To my returning subscribers, you are welcome back. I hope you guys have been enjoying our video tutorials. And to those just coming across our videos for the first time, we want to first of all congratulate you. Here at Make Them Tech, we make videos on JavaScript, React, Node, and so on. So we have made some couple of videos that you can watch and you can speed up your learning in any of the subject matters. I would like to introduce if you are just learning JavaScript, I have a video on JavaScript. I have that of Node, I have that of Ruby. And also today we want to look at how we can build a proxy server in Node.js. I would like to first of all, introduce this proxy server to us, because question would be, why do I need a proxy server? The question is, what is even a proxy server? So a proxy server is like a system or like a door that through which you reach out to other systems or to other applications. So that's in a simple term, a proxy server is a door or a window through which you reach out to others. Let's just leave it like that. So talking about a proxy server, we have a forward proxy server and a reverse proxy server. Now let me show you something. Like what we have here, a proxy server, a reverse proxy server is actually what you put in front of your internet before your web server applications. Do you get the flow? Then that of a forward proxy is what you put before your client applications, before your internet and after your client server applications. So that is the order. So it is just so, the flow of our system, of architecture is from your client application to the internet and to your web server applications. That's just the flow. So when you are bringing something in between, that is when you are trying to bring in a reverse proxy, when you are bringing something inside. So the positioning of that thing determines whether it's a forward proxy server or a reverse proxy server. So in this case now, like the first one, this one, reverse proxy, which is what we want to build in this tutorial, we're actually placing it after the internet, before our server applications. So in this one now, you can use this one to achieve load balancing. You can use it to whitelist maybe some maybe IP addresses that you don't want, and you can also use it to you can actually enhance it to give like an API gateway which does caching, throttling, and a whole lot of things. So the idea of reverse proxy is that if I have like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 microservices, like maybe email notification service, payment service, and co. So when I'm giving the endpoint to the like the front-end developer, I don't need to give the person the endpoint. I will just give the person the endpoints to call, but the URL, I don't need to. I just give him the URL of the proxy server, the reverse proxy server. So that's what it's going to be called. So instead of calling them individually, just call the reverse proxy. The reverse proxy server knows how to call the microservice that you want to call. So that's, and from there, I can do a lot of security checks and cool. By the time you were even hearing me talking about door or a window, you are talking about a confinement, you are talking about you trying to provide security around what you are building. So that's the reverse proxy server for you. Talking about a forward proxy, you are actually talking about you putting it after your client application, before your internet. So in banks, there's some sites you cannot visit. When you talk about your banks, or you talk about this, our modem, MTN, once your data is exhausted, you can't visit the internet again. So there is a proxy that does that check, that does that for them. And that's why you are restricted. So maybe in banks, you see, so that's the work of forward proxy in an organization, or when they have an organization or a company that wants to restrict their applications from getting to a particular point, and so they can bring in a forward proxy server to achieve that. So today, I don't want to waste much time on that. You can actually browse Google and read more on that. There are two big problems for front-end developers. I know problem developers can relate with these two issues. We have HTTPS not allowed to call HTTP. You know, you are a front-end developer, you are building an application that is customer-facing, and you are going to be putting SSL on it, meaning it's going to run on HTTPS. The question would be, by the time you are going live to do all this, your calls will be failing. That is in production, because probably you have been consuming an endpoint, an API that has been running on HTTP all this while. You know, most IP addresses run on HTTP, though there are some that you can actually place SSL on them. Can actually put SSL on an IP address. Yes, it's possible, but you know what is common is you just having an internal application and your IP address, and then you are just firing a call against it. By the time you are putting SSL on it, it will start failing. What can you do? The second problem is cost problem. Yes, cost origin problem. Let me even put the abbreviation because we are used to that. Yes, cost. You know, these two problems are even browser issues. You know, browser has our browsers or our browser vendors, they have their own policy. So the browser policy is that you cannot use your browser to call an endpoint unless you have been enabled for that call. So the backend developer will have to put something in the origin, your header, to allow you call that endpoint. So a situation by the developer has not done something and you are calling and you are having cost issue, what would you do? So the idea of reverse proxy server solves this problem without any, as in without you bringing a lot of things on board to achieve it. So it's just simple and seamless. You just call your proxy server will help you call that endpoint, and then the issue of cross origin will be gone. The issue of HTTPS not allowed to call HTTP is gone. So without wasting too much time, the idea of this whole thing is just for you to understand how to build a reverse proxy server in Node.js and use it to do whatever you want to use it to do. You can even enhance it such that it will metamorphose into what is called an API gateway. So without wasting too much time, let's fire our npm init here. So then we try to write some code that will give us the result that we desire. So in this tutorial session, we are going to be calling an API, and then we see how that API behaves. Then we now call it through our proxy server. We also see the behavior. So we have our package.json set up now. Then so the next thing to do, is to, let me create my server.js. Server.js. Okay, so I'm going to be using the HTTP inbuilt module of Node.js, const HTTP require. So now the next thing to do is to create my server. You know, most of us are used to Express and some of these frameworks, but this one is just you being able to build your server with what Node.js has provided. So that's what we're just doing now. So for those of us that, when by the time you were learning, at the time you started out with Node.js, you must have come across this kind of code where you were doing HTTP create server. So we are back to that now. You know, it's good to do some root level, low level stuff. without too much abstraction. Okay, but you can still bring in your Express here. You can use Express and all this to build your Proxy server. So I would now, so now we know about our request objects, our response objects already, and same thing goes here. So let me put, so this one I'm just calling client request so that it can be more explicit. Request and then client response. So then we have to do const options. So inside this place, we are putting our options. So the first is host name. So our host name is going to be the IP address of that server that we want to call. So the application is running on port 3500. In my last video, I want to believe you can relate with that. So we built an endpoint, then we call it /API/ v1 /make then / think users. Okay, so we can now put our methods and headers. So method will be client request.url. No, sorry, method. Then the headers will be request.headers. So we have that now. Then the next thing is, okay, so now let me now go to create the, what's it called? So we want to make a request. So we just do const make a request. So we want a function that will help us make our request to that proxy server. So this make them request function is going to accept our options, and then it's going to accept our client request and also our client response. So we now need to say, okay, so here I'm going to be explaining some things to us. That would be, so we have to create const proxy. So I will explain this later. So I'll just, so because this time around we are using a stream. We are using stream and we are using the pipe method of stream for this proxy server that we are building. Rest of status code. Okay. So type in this writable string. Put these options true. And the last one will be like this. So client request which is a readable string, and then pipe string to my writable string proxy, and then what's that? Okay, I think I'm okay. Then the last one will be that's 4,000. So the log proxy server on server. Okay, so a little explanation would be, okay, let me even first of all close this so we can say let me go through this. So okay, yes, let me now call it a make request. So I pass the options, pass my client request and my client response, and then I'm done. Okay, so this is our proxy server now. We will soon fire it and then we try it out and see the behavior. Okay, this I want to try to explain what I'm actually doing here. With the request, so you pass in your parameters, so it uses a callback. You can still use promisify, you can make it behave like a promise there too. So I'm just using a callback here in the simple time. So these options, we have our options here, the host name is there, the port is there, methods, everything that is needed is there. So we're just passing it on. So when we're passing it on, then the response here, we write it here, and then what you do normally here is that you now do you now do your res.write JSON.stringify everything just the way you do your normal this thing. In fact, when it even comes back on this time, you have to even use an event, something on data, you do chunk and you add it to a body. And that's what happens because you cannot do that one directly here. So that's what we do when you use HB to do a request. When it comes back as a string, and then you now do your manipulation. So now let me try and explain the idea of a stream. So actually a stream is like a data object that is readable and is writable, that you can read and you can write to. So that is a stream. A stream is just like your data. It's like a volume of data, like a volume of raw data that is coming, that is streaming, that is coming like your stream. So when it comes like that, you can actually read it, you can write it. It can also come as both readable and writable. So that's what's happening. So now when you have a stream, just imagine your stream, you can use your pipe to channel your stream to flow to another place. So that's what we are doing here. So what the idea of a pipe in a stream is for you to be able to connect multiple streams together. So that's what pipe is for connection. You can connect this house to this house, this source of water to this, another from this source to this source, from this to this, and that. So that's what a pipe is doing here. So we're actually converting, we're actually transferring, yes, data transfer, that's the language. So we transfer our readable stream to our writable stream. So in this case now, when you have a request, so when it comes about streams, we are talking about maybe a file system, opening a file or writing to a file, talking about network. Most IOs, any IO you are doing most IOs comes, at least input output operations comes in form of a stream. Maybe you talk about HTTP requests that you are making, talking about your socket connections, and cool, they are all streams. So when you talk about HTTP request now, so in this case now, this your request is a readable stream. So your readable stream is what comes, it's like an incoming data. Then where you are sending it to is your writable stream. So the client request here is a readable stream. Then your client response here is a writable stream. So what happens here is that your client request, we are going to read it, and then your client response here is to send the response back to the client. So that's why it's a writable stream. Now we are making a request. When you are making a request to another proxy server, that's a writable stream. So this part that I'm doing is writable. So now when the result comes back, this response, this is the result that comes back from the proxy server. So now this one, the one that comes back, is an incoming something, and you can even see incoming message. Anything incoming is what is readable. So it's a readable stream. So that's why the formula for pipe is that you just say readable, something like readable dot pipe, and then you put your what, writable, then you put your options. Your options is like your object, what you want, the other extra parameter that you want to use to manipulate. Yes. So this is the idea now. This readable stream, writable, let me even complete it here. Writable, like say writable, yes, writable stream. Stream. Yeah. So this is the formula. So this is the destination. So your writable is also like your destination, your destination of your data. It contains all those information. So that's what happens. So an example is when you read a file, when you create a readable stream data. An example is when you create a readable stream of a file, and then that's the input, let's say input.txt, and then you create a writable stream output. So something is inside your input.txt file, and something is inside and nothing is inside the output. So if you want to copy a file, that in the content of input to output, you can use this idea. So you read it as a stream, and then you now pipe it to your writable stream. So you pipe the input, the content of your input.text file into your output.text file. So by the time you open your output.text file, you see that the content of your input file has been copied to your output file. So I will not waste much time on that, because you can easily read up on streams pipe in Node.js. So that's what we're doing. So you can see here now that this is a readable stream, and this is a writable stream. So that's why, for instance, I'm piping it into this guy so that it will send it. So then this one is a readable stream. So I'm piping this one. So the request I'm making to my proxy server is a writable stream. I'm passing it here. So what happens is that by the time I read the request of the person, the request comes with headers, with methods, with the body of maybe it's a multi-part or a JSON or URL encoded. So I pass it into all these guys. So these guys send it across like a stream to the proxy server. So the proxy server now comes back with its own stream. So I now send it back to the client. So the client now gets it here, and then it lands there. So nothing is manipulated. So in this case now, I'm not stating whether it's a JSON. I don't care whatever the content of the file is, whatever. I don't care whatever I just send it, I just pipe it along, and that gives us our result. So let's test this application again. No, we have not even tested before, so let's test it now. So I'm going to do node server. Okay, so even before we even do that, we should, so I'm going to fire my Thunder client now. So you can actually, you don't need a Postman or some of these Insomnia and Co. You can easily install them as an extension, Thunder client on your VS Code, and then do this. Okay, so let me just let's test our application first of all. Okay, sorry, let me try to, okay, so I think we can see it now. Okay. Okay, so our API is working. So this is how it is. So okay, let me come in. Okay, so I believe we can see this. So this is what we have. Okay, all right. So now let's make a call to this endpoint using our proxy server now. So I'm just going to put my localhost. Okay, so yes, let me just put my localhost, not localhost 4,000. Let's see what we have. We have an error here. Oh, I made a mistake. It actually is supposed to be a response. Yeah, response. Yeah, yeah. So even this whole thing is a stream. Everything is just stream. Yes, client response. Yeah, it's actually a client response thing. So let me start my node server again. Okay, let's go back here and let's try it again. Yeah, you can see the data is back. So we can see this is just our proxy server endpoint URL, and look at the result we have. So now, so that we don't waste too much time, let's just try and enhance this. It's going to be like an API gateway, but API gateway actually does a lot. But we are just going to do something at least small. Now, what we want to do now is that instead of me trying to put the port here, put the parts here, why can't, because I can have more than one application that I want to call. So I should be able to call it. So maybe I have a microservice that is here, is running on port 5,000, another one is running on port 6,000. I have different sites hosted on this, maybe VPS, and then I want to call them with different endpoints, because this one I'm just calling with the same endpoint all the time. So what do I do? So what I can do is I can just do something like const. I can just say proxy. I can just say proxy ports. Okay, so what I'm going to put, okay, let me just say simple API. So 3,500, and then I can come here and then put something like saying const port track. So port track, I can just say client request.url dot. So what I want to do here is that I'll use a regex expression to match. So we are going to put an identifier in our endpoint that to identify the API to the endpoint to call, or the microservice to call, rather. Where's that? Okay, yes, I've seen it. Okay, so I will to match it, and I'll pick the first one because it's going to give us an array. Okay, so then the next thing is to say, let's say the host port. Okay, host ports. Let's call it host ports. Yes. Okay, so this one I'm not just using port track. No, proxy ports. Let me just say proxy ports. So that must give us O of 1. Okay, so and then ports. So port track. So it's going to, so let me just slice that. It's going to come with a / in front. So let me just slice that one out. Okay, so no, that might not give us the, okay, it will give us, yeah, yes, it will give us. Okay, so we have that. Now, a session byte is not found. Yes, it's going to, so host port. So a session byte, it is not found. We just have to tell the user that no, we can't attend to you now. So when it is found, that's when we will now make this request. So else we have to, so here now we can bring in our client response. So client response dot write. So we just tell the person that's okay. Yes, we have to write the edge. So we can put 400 as forbidden. What's that? Okay, yes, curly brackets. The content type. So it's application / JSON. And then client. So this time around, no response. Yeah. So this time around, we want to write. We have to, because we are sending a JSON, so we can just do JSON stringify, and then we can put our this thing here. So let's go there and we put, I just say code 1006. You can have an error document, that gives you all the types of error that exist in your application or in your microservice, and then you can set message Again, which message will endpoint not found. Okay, so this is what will happen if we can't find it. So normally now you can list your microservices here. Maybe this simple API, payment service, you can put it there, email notification, all those things that you want to call, you can put it here. So this one will just be matching it and be calling it for you. Okay, so in this case now, we need to declare the path to const path, because we can't be putting. So for this part now, we have to still bring in our client request.url, and then we split it. Yeah, I think we split. So when we split, we can split along with that port track. So that will give us the second one. So pick the first one. So, and then I think we are good to go. So instead of me putting this, so instead of putting port here, I can just put host port. Yeah, I put host ports, then paths. Okay, yes, I can put for paths. Yeah, just say paths. Yeah. So this should give us the results. Okay, so let's see. Are there no mistakes? There are no mistakes. Okay, so I guess we are fine. So what happens here is that, so this client URL now, you know, it's going to come with an identifier and everything. So I just do this to pick this thing. That's for this one. Then for this one, I'll pick the endpoint and pass it here like we have. So let's test this this that we have done. Let's go back to this one. Okay, let me go back to this, maybe because okay, so that you guys can see this very well. So this is what I've done. You can see port track, client URL match. You can see this now. Yeah. So this is it. So this proxy port slice 1. Then this part, client URL. So I'm splitting it here. And then I'm picking the endpoint. You know, it's going to be /API/S. So what is happening here is that, so let me just, I think this will explain it better. So I'll just do my endpoint, maybe like localhost 4000. So I'm going to this /simple API. So this /simple API is like the field of what I need to pick this port. So that's what I'm matching here. So I'm matching this. So it will match, this is the first, this slash, and so it will get this whole thing out. So when it gets this whole thing out, so that's the port track that I'm getting out. So I'm slicing this one from it. So to get the whole spot. So it will now give me this. And then when I split along, I'll be able to get API/v1, all these things. I will not get this. So in this my split, I will get this whole thing out here. This one's down and pass it here. And that's all. So I think that solves this whole thing for us. So, and then if it's not found, and you know, we fire this back to the user. Okay, so now let's go back to, okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, we might not see it again. Okay, so now let's, okay, let me save this. So /simple API /API/v1 /make them back /users. So let's fire and see. So can you see? We have the same result. And then if you want to post, we can actually post to. So it's not about getting, because anything you want to do is possible. So let's just try and add something to this. That's ID, let's say it's 5. This ID 5, and then the next is a full name. Okay, full name, let's say just Peter. So let's say Peter James. Okay, so then this was going to be email. Let's say Peter at maybe say yahoo.com. Okay, so let me fire this request now. Can you see? That's gone. Can you see? That's gone. And then if I'm getting the new distance, so I'm actually just saving it in the memory, so it's not actually I'm doing something. So you can see it's added here. So that is reverse proxy server in Node.js for you. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now. You can like this video, share with your friends. If you have any question, put it down in the comment section, or any idea or any video you want us to make, you can put it down in the video section, in the comment section. Please subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe now. Turn on the notification bell so that when we drop a new video, you can get notified. Thank you. I would see you on the next one.